the Ram 1500. Are you interested? Check out our review. Let's go! This new 5th generation of the Ram has dropped its Dodge name, formerly Dodge Ram. Now they decided all of their trucks just drop the Dodge name. That's then for the passenger cars, and they are just called Ram. It also has lost its crosshair front grille, so it has a new front grille design in general, also for those more luxurious chrome versions. Here the Rebel has this rugged off-road look with the black plastic, also towing hooks in the front, has an skid plate here for the floor cover, for more protection, even more ground clearance and so on. And also comes with more standard equipment, for example air suspension as standard, otherwise an option, and also the full LED headlamps. The length here is at 5 meters 91, 19'4" or 233 inches. Crew cab with a 5'7" box or 1 meters 70. As for the loading area, and then the legroom of 114 centimeters. But already this one here with a short wheelbase is somewhat a very large car for German relations here on our roads. You can see here how really I can walk along this car for a long time. A great red color here, especially for the Rebel, fitting with the contrast wheel arches here. 18 to 22 inch wheels. Those ones here are the 18-inch off-road tires, so those semi-off-road tires. They also work for the road, but look definitely massive than those contrasting mirror caps. And you can see also how high the car is. Side door step wide here. It's very, very interesting. I always show you right now that the rear doors actually open 90 degrees. That's a very interesting thing. You can easier access the interior then. And here towards the bed, you have those Ram boxes, so you can open them right here, and that's a quite handy thing. You can store some various items in those, so a really cool idea. Well, in the rear, this unmistakably a truck design, just boxy, and wow, this huge lettering here with the Ram, very impressive. The rear view camera is, by the way, placed right there. There's also the regular towing equipment, and the payload is about over 2,000 pounds and about 1,000 kilograms just here on the loading area. And the towing capacity, especially here with the V8, is more than 12,000 pounds, so approximately 6 tons. So this is the 5.7 liter V8 Hemi engine, 400 horsepower, 7.8 seconds is the acceleration figure. Mild hybrid system, and the same also accounts for the 3.6 liter V6 engine, 300 horsepower, and for later is also a 6-cylinder diesel announced. Now join me on the interior, soft touch here throughout the whole door, also red contrast here for the Rebel, reasonable space at the inside. Then there are special seats and also special styling for the Rebel. I would recommend there are seats where you have fabric on the inside for the Rebel and leather red on the outside. That's pretty amazing. Here on those here you sweat a little bit more. I'm 1.86 or 6'1", that still leaves some headroom right here. Also good high upright seating position. You can change the steering wheel height and reach, and it's very smooth in the process, so that's also good from the build quality. They also worked on that. Either 8.4-inch screen or this all-new 12-inch screen in a vertical way. Reminds a little bit of the Tesla orientation, for example. You still have a volume knob right there, and here to tune the radio stations, or also use it here for while driving to control something of the infotainment system, even works with the CarPlay. Still like to have the volume knob, and it's good that you can easily access warmer, colder, and also here the vent strength, so that's cleverly oriented. Also here with the drive modes, when you put it from P to D or reversed, you can just turn that here. And also from two-wheel drive to all-wheel drive, and the low gear and so on, axle lock, everything is really in the grasp of the driver. That's really good. Steering wheel here with right side cruise control, left side to control those instruments, a mix of analog and digital, and I like really those Rebel red accentuations all over the vehicle. And now this infotainment system, here you can see the Apple CarPlay integration. Great sound quality, by the way. There's an Alpine sound system in here, but there's also a Harman Kardon 19 speaker system available, so both is possible. Sat nav, here we go. So you can see right there. It's also a very clear display. And now to the rear, again you can see 90-degree opening almost for the doors. That's pretty easy to get inside then, and also the side step is really useful then. And wow, I mean, look at that legroom. Told you earlier there are different cabins here available, and what I meant by legroom, either 90 or 114 centimeters, what they mean by that is this, you know, the total length from here just to the window, so the whole length of the rear cabin here. And as I said earlier, you either can get the longer loading area and the shorter legroom here, or the shorter loading area and the longer legroom here, or with the long wheelbase versions, then here long legroom and the long loading area. And when you have this open loading area, you might want to use the rear compartment here for storage, and then you can almost make it a full-size trunk like this by flipping all those seats up. So that's a pretty cool option. And then you have a lot of room here to store stuff, to basically live in this vehicle. Then the loading area, what's pretty cool is it's dampened, so it doesn't crush all the way down. See it here? Smooth, really cool. And just as a proof, this one here is the shorter loading bed with 1.70 meters. The other one would be 1.90 meters, so this is the difference then here. What's up, brothers and sisters? Welcome here to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Ram 1500 Rebel. And this is the very first time I'm driving this one here on German roads. And it's indeed somewhat peculiar because, I'm not sure if you can already pick it up on camera, but this car is hardly fitting the lane here. When there's like a trailer now, just on the side of the road, you have to take evasive actions, and you sit super high above the road. Although at the moment I'm in this aerodynamic air suspension mode, so I can also vary the ride height while driving. But this one here would be the one that is suitable now for road driving. And I told you earlier, the Rebel comes standard with the air suspension, and that's very rare for a pickup truck. And it makes the ride indeed more comfortable than usual. So I've driven a lot of pickup trucks that were somewhat, you know, a little bit rough in the drive. But here the air suspension definitely gives you more comfort. You cannot directly compare it to an air suspension for a modern full-size SUV, because that's giving you even more comfort. When you're going over some fierce bumps, you still have, you know, some rattling. You still feel that the base of the vehicle is still to be somewhat rugged, of course. That's what it's there for. Especially here the Rebel version, which has a lot of off-road capabilities. Well, it is somewhat a little bit squeezed in here when I'm in traffic, definitely. The only good thing is I have such a presence on the road that probably not so many people will say, oh, I just squeeze in there, and you know. So you have a lot of respect then, and talked about it quite a lot of times. When you're driving small vehicles in Germany, you're always getting bullied, especially from behind, from bigger and faster cars. Even though those same people sit in it. I mean, it's never good to be bullied, but I think it's especially unfair when they do it when you are in a small car. So no problem with that right here. Also modern assistance systems, for example a blind spot monitor, you can see that here in the side mirror. And indeed people hesitate a little bit before overtaking because they know they cannot win against this one here. I was also doing some parking in and out, and some think, oh, do I hit the pavement with the wheels here? But with those off-road tires here and the overall great ground clearance, you rather think like, yeah, if I scratch the pavement at some point, who cares? And I was looking like, when parking out, oh, do I hit the pavement there in some way or something? And the car was just like rolling over it in a very smooth and soft way, and it's like, oh, you know, whatever, pavement. So funny things you definitely experience here with this vehicle, and I could very well imagine now running through the Carolinas with this vehicle. That would be the more suitable location to drive this one here. Not exactly here in Germany, because again the roads are very narrow, but it's definitely a very interesting experience just to do that for once, you know. And we also head on out to the motorway and see how it performs there. What I already realized is for this segment here it's actually quite silent, so they really worked on the noise insulation. You don't have any, you know, although we have those off-road tires, you don't have any special tire noise you might hear. We'll see how it plays out when we drive faster, but it's really super silent here. And at the moment at 50 kilometers or 33 miles per hour, it's a very, very relaxing drive. Again, upright seating position. That's also, you know, nice for longer travels. And the air suspension, you know, it is, as I said, not a super soft air suspension. So that's also intended that it doesn't get, you know, too wobbly in the ride, but definitely adds some comfort. This new 2019 model gives you a very modern pickup truck, and I think that's definitely also what was like the you know, the key thing they wanted to achieve. So what about some acceleration? So when I'm here now at about 60 kilometers an hour, well, let's switch to miles, like 38, and let's hammer it. So that was 62 miles or 100 kilometers, and yeah, kind of gone. Also quite intensive from the sound. And getting pushed slightly, of course, you feel that this weight has to get moving at some point. I do expect less fuel consumption from the V6 engine. Now it's also good to test here with the roundabout. See here also how much I need as for the steering input. You can see quite a lot, so it's not that progressive, but then again it's also thought to be an off-road vehicle. Getting off here, it's actually quite good as for the agility. So again, it doesn't feel like it would be an old rusty pickup truck or something, because just have this conservative building style. They really created a modern truck that has good driving capabilities. You can get around that in your everyday driving life. This new generation features a lot of modern stuff, and that really fits to the vehicle somewhat, because it still stays very rugged and off-road capable, especially as the Rebel version, and has this special off-roadish look here, which to me is always very pleasing. I like those off-road looks. At the same time, introduce very exciting features like, you know, like adaptive front grille for the intake, then the mild hybrid systems for the engines, the optional air suspension, which is standard here for the Rebel, big new infotainment systems, 2 sizes, and a modern experience when driving the vehicle. So it's relatively easy to drive, although it's a really full-size truck, and even more than full-size for European relations. So although it was, so to say, too big for European roads, you could still handle it very well, and a very good noise insulation. So some of you guys sometimes say in the comments, Thomas really knows his shh when doing reviews, and thank you so much for that. I can really say Ram really knows their shh when doing pickup trucks. So that's my conclusion here for today. What would I change maybe? Yeah, I mean, some things on the interior could be a little bit more premium. It would be okay for the cheaper versions. If you go for the high-end version, which are really expensive, then here and there you could, step up the game a little bit, but it's already quite good for this segment especially. And also the air suspension, I'm not really sure how it plays out off-road, but I would expect it a little bit more comfort if you have already an air suspension in that vehicle. But of course, it's already a quite good addition. So what do you say? Please leave me your comments here.